Work-life balance. I feel like this is the struggle of our generation, this constant quest for having it all. But it occurs to me that being able to have it all first requires us to define what all is, right? And once we've done so, how do we balance these energies properly? Are there things we can do monthly, weekly, or even daily that can help us achieve this balance? I'm Karen Walrond. I believe in the power of photography and words. The practicing gratitude can make you joyful, that family is everything, and I am wildly convinced you're uncommonly beautiful. Welcome to the Karen Walrond Show. Think we can't be extraordinary because of all the things we moms have to juggle? Well, not so fast. Today we're discussing what it means to have it all. And joining me is my friend of many years, Jen Lee, a performer, media producer, and mom of two beautiful daughters. Jen, welcome.
Thanks, Karen. I'm happy to be with you.
So there's this whole thing about having it all, and you seem to epitomize that you have this amazing career, you have this connected family, you have all of these wonderful adventures that you're constantly going on in your personal life as well. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, what does it having it all mean to you?
Well, it's a funny conversation for me because I think we talk about having it all and it gets collapsed into this idea of having everything. Like when you go to the grocery store and you think, I want to try to fit everything in the store into my cart.
Yes.
But I don't want everything in the store. I want the things I crave, I want the things I cherish, I want the things that are going to nourish us. And the same is true of creating a beautiful life.
That's so true. I love that analogy of the shopping cart because sometimes when you're shopping, you might get something one week and then the next week you don't as well. And I think I love that sort of holistic kind of view of it. When I look back at my life, I like to think, well, I'm going to have it all. Like I'm spending time on this and one time and spending time on this and the other. So I think that's totally, totally true.
Yeah, I think cultivating some flexibility, like you're saying, is really important. The other thing that's important for me is to avoid comparison. It's easy to look at someone else's life and compare it to your own, but we all have different values, we all have different families. And so I think for me, I like to look at who is my partner, who are my children, what do we need? And creating our family life is kind of like building a greenhouse where everyone can thrive. And for us, we need a lot of open-ended, unstructured time.
Yeah, and and I also think that not just comparison, but that there's sort of this media stereotype of what having it all is, right? It's sort of that I can, bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan kind of thing. Like there's a corporate sort of side that you have to have and then the family side when not everybody is corporate and not everybody is a family. And it's really funny how we're kind of taught to buy into this sort of media commercial idea of what having it all is all about.
And I think it's further complicated because now we can have the option of working from home, which a generation before us wasn't a very common thing. And I think the fallacy of working from home is that people think you can be as productive as you are in a corporate 40-hour job and not need childcare and be there to see every first step and every sweet moment. And it's not true.
Right.
A lot of us, we still need childcare if we're still trying to work and be with our children.
So how do you do that? What are your tips? What are your tricks for how you find your own balance in your own life?
Well, one of my tricks is that I usually reassess every 6 months or so, and depending on where my children are developmentally, we reconfigure how things go. So we have some flexibility. When they were babies, I would wake up and I'd work very early in the morning and during nap time, and now they're at school during the day. And my husband and I, just at each stage, try to make sure that we have special time every day with the kids.
Oh, wow.
Whether it's dropping them off at school, walking them to the bus, picking them up after school, or reading their bedtime book before bed, we know every day we're going to have kind of one touchstone, or we're going to eat dinner together and share everyone's favorite parts of the day, things like that.
And then having that focused time with your kids, when you first said that, I kind of was like, who has time for all of this focused time? But you're talking about, it sounds like you're talking about just sweet little moments that you have.
I am. We really think in terms of attention, like the quality of attention instead of counting the minutes.
Right.
So it only takes 15 minutes or maybe less of solid attention to take our children to or from school or to tuck them in at night.
Right.
But they seem to even appreciate that more than being with us 3 hours while we're on the computer or doing something else and not really focusing on them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you have these sort of daily rituals that you have, and we do a lot of daily ritualing in our own family as well, and that's something I really, really want to share with everybody out there. My husband and I have pretty demanding full-time jobs, so it's important to us that we create weekly rituals to ensure that we connect as a family. For example, we always have Friday movie night. We pull out the air mattresses, blankets, and pillows and camp in our den, eating snacks and watching movies together. And every Saturday morning, we have a pancake breakfast. Having these little practices helps us stay connected even when our work lives get insane. There's small touchstones to make sure that we have as much balance as possible. So, we've talked about rituals as far as family. Are there any rituals and stuff that you do with regard to your work, with your career?
So for me, one ritual is to have help with my children, and that's looked different ways at different times depending on their ages. When they were really little babies, I worked before my husband left for work in the morning, and then I worked during nap time, and then I worked when they're in school.
Right.
And now for the summer, we have help for
Right.
certain times of the day and certain days of the week so that I know when my work time will be.
So, Justin, your lovely husband, how does he help you have it all, balance work life? How does he help you do that?
Well, he listens. That helps.
Which is nice.
That helps. One great tip that my friend Karen Gaisley taught me was to have my partner take over bedtime routines with the kids. And especially when they're little, and especially if you've been around them a lot during the day, that's the time of day that you're like really kind of at your threshold.
Right.
And you need some relief.
Right.
So he took over the bedtime routine and he tucks them in, and while he tucks them in, I would do the dishes. And so my friend Karen said, well, hang twinkle lights in the kitchen and light candles and turn on soothing music. And it became for me this time where I was free from anyone else's expectations.
Right.
And you can really let your mind rest because you can do that pretty much on autopilot.
Right.
But then by the time the kids are tucked in bed, the dishes are done, and we have the rest of our evening together.
And then you can focus together, yeah. So Jen, basically, we're just talking about taking it day by day, right?
We are, and I just like to remember to not compare myself to other people. One of my mantras is keep your eyes on your own paper. And I am
love that.
creating space for what my family needs and what I need, and for me, that's how I have it all.
It is always so amazing to see you. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks
Seriously.
for having me. It's been really fun to see you.
And you as well. And thank you guys for joining us. How do you define it all? Do you always feel like you have to do everything, or have you figured out a way to achieve everything? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And of course, make sure to subscribe to CafeMom Studios on YouTube to catch more episodes of The Karen Walrond Show. See you next time, and stay extraordinary.